So our program really has three legs to the stool. And the first is the ability to pay. I told you earlier that this is not a free home. It's not given away. You pay a very affordable monthly mortgage payment. The monthly mortgage payment is based on a 30-year, zero interest equivalent or affordable mortgage. We are one of the last Habitat for Humanity affiliates in the nation that's still been able to retain our ability to fund these home purchases at 0% interest. It's the most unprofitable business model you could ever think of, but it's our goal to make sure that we can just provide this opportunity without making an income. Monthly payments are set at the cost of construction. That's all you ever pay us back for, is what it costs for us to build. And your monthly payment will not be any more than 30% of your gross monthly income. That should give you a lot of comfort knowing that that payment is established very affordably at the beginning and doesn't go over that 30% mark. The other good thing is that's never adjusted. So if you get into our program and you have a chance to go back to school and your income doubles, your mortgage payment is still set at what it was when we sold you the home. So our hope is that this is just a springboard for you to change your life in many other ways, not just build generational wealth for your family, but that it provides an opportunity and a flexibility to do other things that maybe you've always wanted to do. Everything we do is based on your gross monthly household income, which is before taxes, for those that might wonder. I always say gross because it's gross to realize how much I don't get when I net it. So when we go through the application, you'll see on the front page that there is an income chart. We expect family households to be above the minimum and below the maximum. Some people ask for the minimum. The minimum is for the borrowers. So the minimum is for the applicants on the application. The minimum is for either one or two people that are applying to buy the house together. The maximum is the sum income of the household. So I'll explain it to you this way. If you have a 28-year-old daughter that's living in your home that's receiving an income, her income does not help you meet the minimum unless she's buying the home with you. Her income does count towards the maximum because she's a contributing member of your household. So just remember that the applicants need to meet the minimum and the household must be under the maximum. It's also really important to understand that when we sell you this home, we're transferring an asset into your name. We're transferring something of value. So the last thing we want to do is set you up for failure from the beginning. And this may be frustrating, but it's very important. When we talk about that all unpaid collections must be under $1,000 and that no unpaid liens or judgments and no recent bankruptcies, it's not because we don't think you have a need for housing, and it's not because we don't think you can do it. It's just because now might not be the right time. It's very important that we get those handled beforehand so that when you do purchase your home, they don't become a barrier or a detriment and cause you more problems now that you have an asset in your name. For some people, this is a good eye-awakening opportunity to realize that I need to deal with those things so that I can take advantage of this opportunity at another time. And if you need connections to a resource that might be able to help you handle unpaid items like this, we are absolutely happy to help. So I said 3 legs to the stool. This is the second leg. And the second leg is that after you have an ability to pay, we determine who we're able to help by a need for housing. You must be a first-time homeowner. If you're not, you've had your opportunity to invest in the program, and this is really to give an opportunity for those that haven't had a way to get in. It does not include a mobile home or manufactured home in the park. You must be experiencing a hardship related to your current housing situation. Maybe it's substandard, like there's no heat. Maybe we see people that have faulty electrical systems, or a mold-filled bathroom, or a rodent infestation. Maybe living temporarily. Maybe you're sheltering with a family, friend, or relative. Maybe you're unhoused. Most people get into the next two just as a normal aspect of our current economics. That's being either overburdened by your rent cost, which we consider overburdened to be anything over 50% of your gross monthly income going towards your housing payment, or overcrowded. We've seen families of 6 living in a studio apartment. So really, our magic formula kind of follows HUD, in that we have 2 people per bedroom is considered if there's any more than 2 people per bedroom, it's considered an overcrowded living situation. We take that a step further, and we allow for a gender differentiation. So if you have a son and a daughter and a 2-bedroom house, we wouldn't consider that overcrowding, because in our situation, we would love to see them separated by gender for bedrooms. So the overcrowding is definitely a flexible term that a lot of people fall into when it comes to the need for housing. The final part, the final leg of the stool, is probably one of the most fulfilling and one of the most unique that really makes Habitat what Habitat is. It's called a willingness to partner. This is arguably the most important aspect of our criteria. You must be willing to be fully involved and committed to our housing program. I am not ignorant to the fact that people living in low-income situations, life doesn't stop just because you're attempting to get some housing. And so we do ask a lot, and this program does take some prioritization in your life. We require sweat equity. For a 2 individual household, like a husband and a wife or a partner couple, you're required to each do 200 hours of sweat equity, and then get 100 hours of sweat equity from a friend or family member, or friends and family members, plural. There's a lot of questions about this, and we can drill down further on it, but it really is an opportunity to build you up. It's an opportunity for you to empower yourself, to learn new skills, to really see that you have what lies within you to complete this big task. We see so much growth in our homeowners and our partner families throughout their learnings with their sweat equity. It's important that you help us advocate. Obviously, to do what we do, it takes money. And so we are constantly fundraising, whether that be through events or mailings, you name it, we probably try it to raise money. So a lot of our partner families help us with those events, or volunteer to help us in the office. Attend those fundraisers and help us. And then also, our goal is to set you up for success. So there are 10 homeowner education classes that you'll complete throughout the process and time that before you purchase your home. And they teach you things like, what's a municipal code? Who is code enforcement? What is homeowners insurance? Really good things that help set you up for success and open your eyes to things that you might not have thought about as a renter. Those classes also count towards your sweat equity, so it's definitely a worthwhile investment. So how does this all work? How do we make it happen? We find partner families that are low income and in need of really a hand-up opportunity. They work alongside of our volunteers to build homes. They complete sweat equity and education, and then at the end, when the home is built, they purchase the home. We're able to keep it affordable because of incredible, generous, and caring people that help us in so many different ways. You'll see the 3 people in the back of the room. They're volunteers. They're not paid to be here. They're part of our Family Services Committee. They're the people that review applications, that help you keep track of your sweat equity hours, that kick you in the rear if you're not getting your sweat equity, or be your biggest cheerleader if you're being super successful. And because those people like them and the people that are on our job site every week are there to help, and we don't pay them, it's how we're able to keep things affordable. Then there's the money piece. We rely on donors and community partners to help us with funding the build. I know many of you may have heard some rhetoric or some discussion about funding streams that are changing, and what I will tell you is that we're very certain of our ability to meet our housing commitments when we bring a family on board. So please don't let that deter you or make you nervous. And also, we have an extremely minimal to no, in some cases, reliance on federal funding. So many of these changes are not significantly impacting our ability to build. There are some changes that have impacted what we do, but for us and our affiliate locally, we've really been able to navigate the changes, and we're excited about our ability to still be able to offer our program. And then last and least important is staff. There's a small but mighty team at the office that really work hard to make sure that you are supported, that our volunteers are supported, and we don't break the law or get in trouble. That's what we're there for. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of the program, how it works, what might be expected for you. It's very surface level. Please do not feel like you should walk away from here and know exactly what this process is going to look like if you're selected. All I want you to do is understand a little bit about who we are and how it works before you invest in the application process. If you are selected, we have a 3-hour orientation where we go over every aspect of what this is going to look like for you and what's required and how it works. So please don't be nervous, and I guess I ask for just a little bit of your faith and confidence as you jump into something a little bit blind, to know that we've got you, and we've been here 40 years, and we're poised to continue to be great. So let's go through the application just so I can give you some tips and pointers as you fill this out to know exactly what we're looking for, and then maybe raise any questions you might have to be answered at the end. So as you'll see, an important notice that this is a special application opportunity for 2-story, 3-bedroom homes in an upcoming build in Ashland. This is a special application opportunity that uses the grid posted below. Again, these are gross income levels, so before taxes. And these are different than what's been published in the qualification guide that we use. Because we live in Ashland, some of the income bases are a little bit different. So for this specific housing opportunity, this is the grid for income that we use. You'll see that it's based on how many individuals are in your household. There's the minimum income before taxes for the year, it's an annual number, and a maximum income for an annual number. We already touched on the fact that the applicants must legally reside in the United States as a permanent resident or U.S. citizen. You also must be a resident of Jackson County. You must not have owned real property within the last 3 years. This is a first-time home buyer program. And again, manufactured homes in a park do not count. There are other requirements which I already touched on. Some people don't attend orientation, which is their prerogative. I think they're missing out. But there's a note on there to review the qualification guide for other details. The qualification guide talks about that whole liens and collections thing we already discussed and your ability to pay. If you flip to the next page, it says completely fill out this application. To the best of your knowledge and ability, you can use extra sheets of paper if needed. And the next sentence you're going to see repeated 3 times on this page. And it's not because I have like dyslexia or Tourette's, it's because people don't listen. It says, please make copies for your own files. We will refuse applications submitted with original documents. We are unable to provide use of the copy machine. If you need a resource for making copies, let us know and we will connect you. But I have to, whether you are approved or denied, hold these applications for many, many years, just in case. So you will not be getting back any information that you provide to me. So if you give me an original something that you cannot reprint or you cannot recreate, I'm sorry. If I catch it, I'm going to give it back to you and ask you to make a copy. But if not, it's become an accomplice to your application, so I can't give it back to you. For the applicant and co-applicant, so the people applying to be homeowners, to complete your application, you must provide photocopies of the following documents. We will not accept your application if you do not provide this documentation. We need a tax return for the last 2 years for each applicant. If you file joint, fantastic. We only need 1. If you file separate, I need each of your tax returns. If you do not file, if it's because you're not required to, maybe you just get Social Security, I will be able to figure that out. If it's because you just did not file because of some personal circumstance, please let us know on a separate sheet of paper, I did not file my 2023 taxes. Whether you had income, maybe you had no income in 2023. Maybe you did have income, but something happened and you just were unable to file. Please let us know. Paint the picture for us. We need pay stubs for the last 3 months for each applicant. The pay stubs need to show the name of the individual that was being paid, how much they received on a gross basis, and how often they were paid, what the frequency is. So whether you're paid bi-weekly or once a month, I should be able to see that on your pay stubs. If something doesn't apply to you, you're welcome to hope that I understand that it doesn't apply to you, or I would recommend that you do an additional sheet of paper and let me know, I didn't do this because I'm not employed. I'll be able to figure that out other ways, but it's best to just let us know. If you receive a pension or a retirement or a monthly stipend amount, I need to see an award letter. I don't need to see the direct deposit on your bank account. That means nothing to me. I need to see an award letter that this person receives this amount for a continued amount of time. Bless you. If you don't get one of those and that doesn't apply to you, again, don't worry about it. I need bank statements for the last 2 months. If your bank account is together, I just need 1 bank. If you have separate accounts, I need to see all of them. If you have multiple accounts, I need to see those. Here's where people get into trouble with bank statements. They go into their online banking and they just print the ledger. That doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me because it doesn't give me dates, it doesn't give me a name for whose account this actually belongs to, and it doesn't sometimes give me an identifier as far as which financial institution. So there's usually a place to go for online statements. I need you to actually download and print your monthly statement. If you cannot do that, you can go to your bank branch and they will help you get that information. I also need a copy of your identification. You'll see again on the next line, one, maybe not even the final time. But please do not submit original documentation with this application. We are not going to return it to you. When you have everything complete, every page, every space filled, all the copies of the documents, you can bring that to us. You can mail it to us. I don't even care if you scan it, if you're that technologically able. But get it to us at Habitat for Humanity, and it needs to be to us by July 25th at 4 o'clock. It's a Friday. It's 1 month from tomorrow. If you have questions throughout this process, my contact information, email and phone number. Email is the best way to get in touch with me. It's at the bottom of that page. The next page of the application is the authorization and release. This allows me to verify the information you've provided in your application. This allows me to verify employer references. It allows me to call the personal references. It allows me to pull your credit report if you get to that point. It allows me to verify any information in this process. Here's what I will tell you about this release and authorization. I will not call anyone without telling you. I know some people are in fragile living situations and may not want a landlord to know they're applying for this opportunity. I will not call or contact your landlord or your employer without discussing with you first. So you'll complete those sections. This is just the applicants, and you'll sign that and give the authorization and release. Next page. This is where the application begins. It says you need to complete the application to determine if you qualify. Please fill it out completely and accurately, and all information will be kept confidential. Again, it says if you need more space to provide more information, attach another sheet of paper. So section 1 is the applicants. This is who is purchasing the home, whose name is going to be on title, and who's responsible for making the monthly payment. You're going to put your name, your social, your date of birth, your age, your ID information. Then you're going to say what's your residency status, are you employed, are you receiving disability, are you a student, and then what's your marital status. I'm going to be very transparent with you. If you are married and separated, you will likely have your application declined. It is very important that you legally separate yourself from a spouse before you purchase a home at Habitat for Humanity. If you have a co-applicant, they will fill out the next 1B section. Again, that's someone who's buying the home with you. If you do not, you're going to go to 1C and you're going to give us your mailing address. And then next door to that, you're going to give us your contact information. In 1E, you're going to let us know what language is most preferred for you. I am legally not able to do this process in any language other than English because my entire program through the sale of your home cannot be in Spanish. So I have to introduce the program in the same language that we finish the program. We can certainly help you translate things. We can help you rely on a translator. If you use one, you can tell us who they are. But I just can't give you an entire program in Spanish. The next is a very, very, very important section. This is a section some people get in trouble with for not telling us the whole picture or being a little bit dishonest. Who lives in your household? And does that person receive income? You're going to put, this is not any of the applicants. Other than the applicants, other household members, who currently lives in your home and will move to your new home with you. What is their name? What is their relationship to you? Gender, age, date of birth, and then are they employed? Are they a student? Are they disabled? Same questions as above. If there's nobody, leave it blank. If there are other people, like your kiddos, maybe a mother or in-law, I'm sure you probably don't want them to move with you, but if they are, they are. So you're going to put that information there. On the next page, section 2, we're going to ask about your current housing situation. Where do you physically live? How long have you lived there? And how much do you pay? On the right-hand side, it's going to say, does your co-applicant, if you have one, do they live there too? Underneath that, if you've been at that 2A address less than 2 years, tell me what your previous address was and how long did you live there. In section 2C, let me know how much you're paying in rent. Are you receiving public assistance? Any other program supporting your housing? Section 2D, tell us what's going on with your house, with your utilities. Maybe this is an aspect of being overburdened. Maybe your power bill is $300 in the winter because you have broken or single pane windows and the heat is very inefficient. Tell us that. It helps paint the picture of why you need a Habitat for Humanity home. Then in 2E, what is your current housing like? Is it a townhouse? How many bedrooms does it have? Does it have a bathroom? Does it have a kitchen? All that information. Section 2F, this is the number one place you're going to need to attach another piece of paper. This is your opportunity to write a story and tell us why you need this opportunity. Why is a Habitat home going to change your life or better your life, and what will it do for you and your family? On the next page is where you put your employment information, and it starts at the most current. I would like to know 2 years of employment history. If you are retired, just put retired. If you are a homemaker, you can just put homemaker. And then your income, your hire date, and if you're still working there. If you need, if you've only been at your job a year, put a previous employer there. There's space for 3. If you have gaps in your employment of more than 1 month within that 2-year time frame, there's a little space to tell me why. Normally, who cares, right? But what we care is getting an understanding of just how stable your income situation is. Maybe you had to take time off because a parent was injured, or you were helping someone navigate dementia. I mean, we've seen so many different things. Again, this is just not a reason to say no, but a place for you to help us paint the picture. And then the bottom section there is for a co-applicant, if you have one. What is their housing situation like? And then they have on the next page, they have a previous employment and then a gaps for a co-applicant. Section 4 is income. What is the applicant's income and how is it derived? Are you employed? Is some of that from alimony? Is some of that disability, child support? What gives you your monthly income? Then a co-applicant. And then please remember that if you're indicating a source of income, I need to have proof of that income. If you have a child support income, I need to see a copy of an award letter from the court or a ledger of what you've been receiving from the other parent. There are other income streams that you may be receiving. Please indicate all of them and provide that proof. And then below, there's listing incomes of non-applicants. So remember a couple of pages ago when I said at the bottom, list everyone that lives in your home that's going to be moving to your new home. If any of those people have income, like your 28-year-old daughter that lives in your home permanently, if she's receiving income, I should see her listed as a member of your household on the first page, and I should see her income listed right there under section 4 at the bottom. I also need proof of their income. So if they get Social Security, I need an award letter. If they get payroll, I need to see those pay stubs, just so we can prove that you meet our household income requirements. Whew. Okay, next page. This is a list of questions. It's just simple yes or no. Do you have any debt because of a court situation or court decision against you? Have you declared bankruptcy? Have you had a foreclosure? Are you involved in a lawsuit? Are you a veteran? Have you been here for 12 months? Yes or no? If you answer yes to any of those questions, please attach a separate sheet of paper and tell me more details. Yes, I filed bankruptcy in 2020. During COVID, I lost my job. It was discharged, blah, blah, blah. Section 5, I need to know your assets. What do you have? Do you have a bank account? Where do you have that bank account and what's the balance? And then one question at the bottom, do you have more than $25,000 in net assets, not including your retirement account? This would be checking and savings accounts, stocks and bonds, savings bonds, vehicles, boats, RVs, trailers. If you answer yes to the $25,000, please just, again, a separate sheet of paper and some more notes. When people purchase a home, a lot of times they have to save a down payment. Many people think I have to save 20% for a down payment, or I have to save 3% for a down payment. At Habitat for Humanity, because we are the ones giving you the loan for your home, you have to save $1,200. This money is saved with a very special account called an IDA account. Oregon is an incredible place to be, and one of those reasons is because we have the best IDA account in the nation. And this account is designed to help low-income families build wealth. So if you open an IDA account, which we get an IDA account established for you, and you save your money, the state matches what you save. So you save your $1,200. When you buy your home, the state will send an additional $6,000 to cover closing costs. So we help you get that all set up and taken care of. But this just says, do you have a way to make this $1,200 savings work? And again, remember that's over the length of the program. So you've got 9 months to make it work. And then are you willing? Do you have an IDA account? Have you had one before with anybody else? Believe it or not, some people have. And then on the next line down, it just again reiterates that we have a sweat equity requirement. That's your volunteer requirement. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to prioritize the opportunity and meet that sweat equity requirement? And then in 7B, we ask you to certify that this will be your primary residence. I'm not in the business of providing people rental properties or income producing properties, so this home will be required to be your primary residence. And then on 7C, I just want to know what you've done to prepare yourself for homeownership. Have you taken homeownership classes with Access? Have you done something online with Dev Northwest? What have you done to prepare yourself for homeownership? And then just put some information down below to tell us. On the next page, I would like to know if you've been to an orientation. Again, some people get this application from our website and don't come to this orientation. But if you came, you'll say, yes, I came in 2025, or maybe you came 10 years ago. That information can be captured there. On section 9, this is an opportunity to let us know if you have any special accommodations. This is not something that's going to disqualify you. It's just something that's going to alert us that we need to make sure that this house is going to be a good match for what you need. Do you use a walker? Do you use a wheelchair? Do you have any medical conditions that we need to make some accommodations for your sweat equity? This is a great place to let us know if we can help with any of those. Section 10B, this is just asking for people that can vouch for you. People that you can rely on to help you meet your sweat equity requirements. People that can say, oh yeah, I know Elise, she's an incredible person and I know her family would be so much better off with this opportunity. So we only asked for three references that you can count on for support, and then 3 professional references as well. The last page is a privacy statement, just saying you understand that we're going to collect this information We're not going to use it to decline you. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to sell you anything other than hopefully a house. But you'll just sign that saying you understand that I'm keeping the information you provided and I will keep it safe. At the bottom is where I said we'd be asking some personal information from you. This is 100% voluntary. You are in no way required to provide me that information, but it certainly does help so we can determine that we're doing all the right things to help an equal amount of people that need Habitat's support. The very last page is a signature of authenticity. This just says everything I told you is true, that I understand I'm asking you to evaluate my ability to be accepted into this program, and that if it's determined that you've been untruthful, your application will likely be declined at any point in the process and you'll be excused from the program. This is also the place where we tell you that we will be doing a background check, and that at no time do we allow individuals that are registered sex offenders to participate in our program. Now, I already shared with you earlier that this is not a decision that I make, so you can't bribe me. It's a decision that an incredible group of volunteers that make up that Family Services Committee, they follow some very strict policies and guidelines to confidentially navigate this process and find the right families for us. They're going to review the application, they're going to conduct partnership evaluations, and then make a recommendation to our board of directors. Once a partner is selected, your family is then partnered with one of the volunteers and they help you through the entire process. They make sure you know where to be, when to be there, that your hours are getting counted properly. They're just incredible resources and very, very generous people. So that's who they are, the volunteers. And then what is the timeline for this? So you're going to complete your application with photocopies of all of your required documents, and you're going to turn those into our office by Friday, July 25th at 4 p.m. I cannot extend that deadline. I will not review any of the applications until after July 25th. They'll be reviewed the next week, and then the next week you'll get one of 3 letters. One letter will say, you do not meet the requirements of our program. One letter will say, you are missing required items, and you have 15 calendar days to turn those in. You don't want to be this person. I mean, I've been very clear of what we need, so please make sure you don't delay your process, and we get complete applications. The letter you hope to get is a letter that says, you've completed step 1, and we'll be contacting you to set up the next step. After we verify your ability to pay, we pull your credit, we check your income, we do a home visit. The home visit is just there to meet you. It's for you to show us, here's the mold, I can't get to leave the bathroom, here's the plumbing issue, here's the living room where my daughter has to sleep, and this is how she makes her bed. It's just our opportunity to verify the information that you've shared, and for us to be on your turf, so you feel comfortable to share with us what's going on and why you think this is a great spot for you. Those will likely occur mid to late August. We don't show up at your doorstep, they're scheduled ahead of time, so you don't have to be worried about any of that. After the home visit, then we determine who has the greatest need, who qualifies, who has the greatest need, and the final step in the process is a partnership interview. The partnership interview is different volunteers than the ones that visited your home. You come into our office and you just meet with people, and we have a list of questions to find out how prepared are you for home ownership? What have you done? How is this going to impact you? To really make sure that out of the pool of people that qualify, that have a determined need for housing, who's most prepared and who's going to be the best success with the Habitat program. Once we finish those partnership interviews, we make a recommendation, It's usually about a 60-day process from when you submitted your application from June 25th to when we tell people that they're selected for the program. Individuals applying for this opportunity will likely know at the end of September that they've been accepted into the program. Wow, that's a whole lot of information. If you forget any of it, a recording of tonight will be available online tomorrow, the same website that you used to register, roguevalleyhabitat.org. You can pull another application if you need to. You can watch that video, and you can also reach out to us and ask us any questions if you need any help. But I do want to take a few moments to see if you have any questions and get those answered for the group. And if you don't, that means I did a good job. Yeah.
I have some household members that are disabled, but they're not receiving income for those disabilities. Do I check that they're disabled on the application, or are they just?
Yes, so the question was, I have people that are members of my household that are disabled, they are not currently receiving any income or Social Security. Yes, you'll still list them on that first page as a member of the household. You'll mark disabled, and then I will just know that they don't receive any income because I won't see them listed on that section 4 income piece that they have no income. Any other questions? All right, if you have a personal, yes.
Does each bill require a separate application, like for the Ashland location, an application for that? If you're not selected, you can still apply for the Medford Grandview?
Yeah, great question. So her question is, do I have to reapply for every opportunity? And the answer is yes. So each opportunity has some very specific requirements. So you're certifying different requirements with each application. I also, to be very transparent, am not going to keep an inventory of your documents. So if you apply again for Medford, you will have, if you think it's a possibility, maybe just keep those master documents together. I won't be able to pull them from a previous application and move them over. If you were to reapply for Medford, you'd have to submit a complete application. But you'd be a pro at it, so you wouldn't even have to hear much spiel again. Is there a question?
I'm just curious if you could share the cross street.
The what?
The cross street at the bill of Williamson.
I'll just give you the address and you can Google the cross street. It's 452 Williamson. I don't know the cross street, but it's abutting, it's where the housing ends and the commercial district starts, if that tells you anything. I live in Medford, sorry. And the houses are already under construction, so you can absolutely leave here and see them. These are for the homes that are on the right-hand side. Yeah.
I'm wondering who the lender is, like who's holding the mortgage?
Yeah, great question. So who's the lender? The lender's Habitat. Yeah, we fund it. It's hard to find people willing to fund mortgages at 0%, so we have to do it ourselves.
And so for veterans, does it sound like there'd be any difference with the mortgage for veterans? We don't use a VA loan or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, if you have personal questions, I'm happy to make myself available. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be with us. What's up?
We're back here if you have questions too.
Oh, they can help you too. Thank you for taking time out of your evening and away from your families to learn more. And I hope this is an opportunity for you, and I look forward to seeing your applications. So thanks.